Well, hello, good people. I'm Dr. L. Brown.
And I'm Ricky too.
And today we're going to talk about a characteristic with some individuals on the autism spectrum.
It's called the body language of emotions.
Boom, that's another way to say it. It's a good way to say it, actually. We're going to talk about understanding emotions and reading social cues. Well, when I was a young mother and I was constantly researching things about autism, trying to figure out what did I need to help Ricky too with, one of the things that, what are you looking at?
I was looking at you.
Oh, you looking at me? I'm looking at you. One of the things that I would read was that children on the autism spectrum mightn't be able to read emotions easily. So it was saying, go through and teach children various emotions. So I started out by teaching Ricky two very basic emotions, and I would use me to teach.
Like I would say, I'm happy if you're happy, or I'm sad if you're sad, but I'll be mad if anyone messes with my baby.
Hey, he's right. Those are the first three emotions I taught him was happy, sad, and mad. And the way I did it, I would say,
which means yellow, blue, and red.
Oh, well, that's new. Brain just expanded. I didn't know he associated colors with them. So, because I didn't teach him that. So, what I would teach him was happy.
The colors of the emotion.
Oh, okay. Colors of the emotions. I'm getting it. So, I would teach him that happy looked like this. I'd be happy when you're happy. Whenever you're happy, I'm happy. And then I taught him sad was like this. I'll be sad when you're sad. Whenever you're sad, I'm sad. And then I taught him mad like this. I'll be mad if anybody ever mess with my baby. And so he would actually make those faces and he would say those phrases, and that's how he would identify those various emotions. So when I would see that he was sad, I would point out that emotion. Yeah, I'm like, are you feeling sad? If you're sad, I'm sad. Are you feeling happy? If you're happy, I'm happy.
I think at one point I actually cried. Remember the time I was in virtual class? I cried, you started crying.
Yeah, he knows if he, literally, if he is sad, I am sad. I feel like we are spiritually connected. So whatever emotion he feels, I generally feel it, and probably in tenfold, because he's my baby and I love him so much. So if he's ever crying or sad, which isn't very often, then I'm certainly going to feel it as well. With that, I use these cards in addition to that, where I bought these deck of cards, and I had apps on his iPad, and we would just show people in various situations that were displaying various emotions, and we would talk about those various emotions. We were like, this is what frustrated looks like, this is what angry looks like,
this is what sad looks like, this is what scared
looks like. So all these emotions I wanted.
Oh yeah, I think there's even a song.
Oh yeah, and I did make the emotion song. And you talking about the Kinder Jam song?
No, not the Kinder Jam song.
Oh.
It's the Do You Feel Sad?
Oh, okay, yeah. So I had music for everything. So with this, about second grade, I realized that he had gotten the concept of emotions, because we went to the Franklin Institute. That was second grade, right? Yeah. In Philadelphia. And they had this museum exhibit of emotions. And he was able to go through and identify each of the emotions. And again, they were all pretty basic emotions. However, as he got older, emotions start to have a social meaning, because you use people's body language to understand what they're feeling, so you can know how people are receiving you and how to move accordingly.
Because we all must start from somewhere.
Yeah, we all start from someone. We all have to look at people's emotions to know who wants to be around us, who doesn't want to be around us, who's happy to see us, who's not happy to see us. Mm-hmm. Well, we were in Maryland at a go-kart park.
Crofton Raceway.
And he really, 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 really gets excited about go-kart because that was his thing at the time. And so generally adults are really patient with
really
Ricky too.
chill.
Are real chill with Ricky too, because he'll talk and they'll listen and they'll nod, because after a bit of talking to him, you could tell that this is someone who might require a little more adult attention, and adults generally are really good about giving him that. Well, on this particular occasion, the woman that he was talking to really did not want to be bothered, and I could tell by the way Ricky 2 was trying to engage her that he was not able to read the cues that she was giving to let him know that she did not want to be bothered. Because
and she was like annoyed. She's like she did like a half smile.
Yeah, she did like a half smile. She kind of like looked away, and so he's using the word annoyed because I taught him
in her eyes.
Right, and I taught him that word that day. So when I saw what was happening, I called him over and I used her as a teachable moment. And I said, you see the way her body language was? She was sighing. She was looking away. She was kind of like pulling back. I was like, all that is saying, I don't want to be bothered with you.
Or nobody cares.
Or nobody cares. Or I don't care. Or she was annoyed. And so I honestly didn't know that he had grasped the concept of annoyance. However, about a week later, we were at the house,
and you were working,
and I was working,
and you're like, I wanted to show something on like YouTube. You're like, what is it? And I was like, are you annoyed?
Exactly. So he was talking to me. He was so excited, and I think I was working on a paper or something, and he was like, wait a minute, are you annoyed? And I was like, oh my goodness, busted.
Oh my goodness, this kid.
And because I wanted to honor the fact that he was able to read the social cue, I was like, You're right. Mom is annoyed. Yes, I am working on something. You came down talking about something that I wasn't immediately interested in. I was like, but I'm mom, so I don't count.
So you can talk. So you can DC talk to me about anything.
So you can talk to me about anything. And I closed the computer. So even though I was like busted, I was really, really excited too at the same time, because he understood annoyance. So now I know that when someone does not want to be bothered with Ricky 2, that he knows to go somewhere else and do something else, because that's a person who's not interested. They're lost. But with that, we still are working on things like sarcasm to understand when somebody says something and the words they're saying might be nice words, but the tone that they're saying in will tell you that they don't mean it.
Okay, I'll say, nice bro, but can I please participate in line? Thank you.
Yeah. So if someone was like, yeah, nice job, bud. They're not really saying nice job.
It's like, yo, that's sick, man. Teach me that, bro.
Right. That's somebody who is enthusiastic, and the other one is sarcasm. So,
or I can say like,
oh, I guess you do have it. Okay.
Or maybe I can say like, it's all right.
Yeah.
That is someone who doesn't care.
Yeah. It depends on the tone. So we still got to work on the tone. Like somebody could be like, it's all right. And they could actually mean that it's all right. Or somebody could be like, it's all right. And that's somebody who is being sarcastic. So we still have to work on those social cues, because now that he's older and he's a teenager, teenagers can be snarky sometimes. So I'm hoping that in time, with practice, what do you want me to do? In time with practice, he'll be able to pick up on some of those more complex social cues, because especially when he started dealing with women, because we something else, and we got all kind of social cues that you're gonna have to learn how to read. But your mama got a whole range of emotions, so learn my moods and you'll be okay. With that, I know we made light of it, but it is something that you really should consider being very explicit when working with your child about, is just picking up on what emotions look like, not just in facial expressions, but also in body language and tone of voice, because that helps children when they are interacting with people who aren't their loved ones and aren't their caregivers.
Exactly.
Because that gives you those cues of who your safe people are, who the people are who really truly like you. And sometimes it's really overt and you can tell people who don't like you. Other times it's a little more subtle.
You can tell right away of their face. You can tell. Like I'll say, if when they say, instead of saying yes, they might say, what, or they might say like, what do you want, or something like that.
Well, sometimes the people who are overt with it, I'm okay with that because I immediately know where I stand with that person.
Right.
The thing that I'm most concerned about are people who might be sarcastic and they might be teasing, and you might notice that because of the way that they're using their words. Literally, it sounds like they're being nice, but they actually aren't being kind. So we have to learn how to read those social cues.
Wait, so what does that mean?
So that means that sometimes people can be acting like they're being nice, but they're really making fun of us.
Like I'll say like, I can say like, wow, that's extremely good. Good job, something like that.
Yeah, but they don't really mean that. They're like, look at this kid, that's not that great.
Or something like that, say like, yo, that's awesome. How did you do it?
Well, I think he has sarcasm down because that was pretty sarcastic. With that, understanding emotions, reading body language, getting social cues. We even talked about
social cues, getting everything you need to know about being sarcastic, about reading people's emotions and body language.
Reading people's emotions and body language. That's something that, many of us pick up contextually. If you have a child on the spectrum, that's something that you may have to teach them explicitly.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's about all I have on the subject. Anything you want to say?
Nope.
All right. Well, we're good. From our family to yours. Work on those social cues. They will come really beneficial when they get to be about 12 years old.
But one thing I want to say.
What's that?
Is bye.
Bye. From our family to yours.
Our family to yours.